Hello, my name is Dr. Colin Summerall. I'm the invertebrate paleobiologist in the Department of Earth and Planetary Sciences at the University of Tennessee. What's in a name? Today we're going to be discussing the name Echinodermata, or spiny-skinned animals, and why this name is completely inappropriate for this wonderful group of organisms. The name Echinodermata literally means spiny-skinned animals. However, there are two problems with that name. First of all, most echinoderms do not have spines. And secondly, even when they have spines, the spines are not part of the dermal layer, the skin. They are part of the mesoderm, the same tissues that make up the muscle, the bone of your own body. When we think about spines in echinoderms, we typically think about the mobile spines we see in sea urchins, such as this Eucydorus. On the echinoid, we can see how the spines work. You can see these tubercles along here, the little knobs like a hitch of a trailer, and then the spines simply articulate like that, and then they can move freely about that with muscles that pull the spine in whichever direction the echinoid wants it to go. On a sand dollar, you can see the very tightly packed tubercles all over the animal, but those tubercles attach to incredibly large numbers of very tiny spines. As we just saw, spines are a common feature of echinoderms such as this echinoid, but it's not limited to this group. Note this asteroid has spines all along the edges of the marginal plates, and also in things like brittle stars. Notice all the spines on the arms of this lovely creature. But the mobile spines we see in Eleutherozoans are really unusual for echinoderms. Most echinoderms have no hint of spines whatsoever, as in blastozoans. A few groups of edrioasteroids have fixed spines, as do a few groups of crinoids. But again, these are the exception, not the rule. Whereas Eleutherozoans had mobile spines, some groups of echinoderms rarely have fixed spines, as you can see on this lobocrinus up here on the anal tube. Other ones, such as this doricrinus on the tegmen, have some very large spines, and these are undoubtedly for protection of some type for the animal. But these are really the exception, not the rule. Look at these platycrinites. This is more normal. You may see a couple little spinelets on the arm plates themselves, but the animal itself is generally free from spines, either fixed or mobile. Other groups of echinoderms, such as a slab of edrioasteroids, lack spines, as do the vast majority of crinoids, such as this calciocrinid, as do all blastozoans, such as this rhombiferan and this blastoid. Now let's look at the echinoderm skeleton. The echinoderm skeleton is not part of the dermal layer. It is not skin, as you might see in an osteoderm of a crocodilian. It is internal. It is an internal skeleton. This is not an exoskeleton. It's an endoskeleton. Even the teeth are part of that internal cell layer. Consequently, the spines, which occur on some echinoderms, are also made of mesoderm. And you can see this from the internal structures that we'll look at in a moment. As I mentioned before, the echinoderm skeleton is mesodermal. The plates themselves are made up of a single crystal with a complex microstructure called stereome. Different constructions of the stereome, you can see it's very fine over here and very coarse over here, indicate different types of tissue. When you look at other ossicles, such as this vertebra, this is one of the arm plates of a brittle star, you can see just how intricate the patterns of coarse and fine really are. And when you really zoom in, you can see just how beautiful these animals are at very high magnification. So there you have it. The spiny-skinned animals are not always spiny. In fact, in most groups, they're not spiny at all. And even when they are spiny, the spines are not part of the skin, but rather they are mesoderm, the same tissues that make up the bones in your own body. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.